The PC Gameport Party lets you use all the functions of your Gameport at the same time. 2 joysticks, MIDI Out for a MIDI synthesizer, and also MIDI In for those wanting to compose music with a MIDI keyboard. Let's take a closer look at this device. Here we can see PC Gameport Party, and at the bottom it is developed by 1-Bit Fever Dreams. We can see here there are 2 ports for joysticks. Joy 1 is the one that's closer to the switch, and on the left side we've got Joy 2 for the second joystick. MIDI In at the bottom, this is where you can plug in a MIDI keyboard to do some composing, and MIDI Out at the top, this is where you can connect an external MIDI synthesizer. We can see there's a mode switch. In 2-player mode, you can use 2 joysticks, but some joysticks are more advanced. They've got 4 buttons and a throttle and a rudder. For that one, you plug it into Joy 1 and change the mode switch to 1 player. And on the right side is a DB15 connector. You need a cable that plugs this board into the game port of your sound card. Let's have a look how everything connects together. This PC Gameport Party I soldered myself, and it's available open source. I will talk about all the details later, how you can buy one or how you can make one yourself. So I'm connecting the DB15 cable into the PC Gameport Party and then into the sound card. Today we're using a Sound Blaster OR64 and a Celeron 533 retro gaming PC. The joysticks come next. I quickly went online and bought some used joysticks. I really wasn't able to find anything fancy. Both of them work, but they are quite worn out. Anyway, it does the job to test this project. So yeah, you just plug them into the Joy 1 and Joy 2 ports. MIDI Out is next. This is where you can plug in your MIDI synthesizer. Maybe you've got a Roland Sound Canvas, maybe a Yamaha MU or a Roland MT32. I'm using the MT32 synthesizer from Serdako. Very flexible, can do SF2 sound fonts, MT32, CM32L, and all that good stuff. So just connect it with a regular DIN5 cable. For MIDI In, usually you would connect a MIDI keyboard and then use a software sequencer to compose some music. I don't have a MIDI keyboard, so I'm using a modern computer using a USB MIDI adapter and a virtual MIDI keyboard using Falcosoft's MIDI player. So everything is hooked up. We will test things very soon, but you might be wondering, where can you get one? One option is heading to Joe's Computer Museum. He's selling it for $25. Pay attention, this is without the DB15 cable, so that's an additional purchase. On the website are also 2 other products from Michael, who is behind 1-Bit Fever Dreams, a 2x2 and a 3x3 MIDI selector. The other option is to build one yourself. Now the channel is sponsored by PCBWay, so of course that was an opportunity to order some PCBs through PCBWay. Michael was kind enough to open source this project, make the Gerber files available. He even modified the files so everything is through-hole, so it's very easy and beginner friendly. And a few words about soldering. Recently I got into soldering and attempting to repair old computer parts, and let me tell you, it is so relaxing. The day-to-day stresses, they seem to just melt away, just like the solder. And it's a really fun hobby. Now, if you want to see the entire process soldering the PC Gameport Party from the beginning and to the end, showing you all the steps, well, I've got some good news. I have another video on my second channel. It's called Phil's Workbench. The idea is to have a dedicated space for my new journey and passion of soldering, repairing, tinkering, and all that good stuff, and keep this channel focused on retro PC gaming. As always, you'll find a link down below in the video description. And now it's time to test everything. Let's start with testing the two joysticks. There's a very nifty DOS utility. It's called Joystick Check. And well, I'm starting to wiggle the first stick. So this one shows up on the screen on the right hand side. Everything is working fine. You can see these joysticks is all analog. It uses resistance and the time it takes to charge a capacitor. So there's some drifting going on, and the joystick has some little dials where you can dial everything in. Buttons are working just fine, and let's try the other joysticks. Yeah, also the X and Y axis is working fine. The buttons are checking out. Let's try moving both of them at the same time. Working beautifully. There are quite a few DOS games out there where you can play against a friend using two joysticks. So yeah, now with the PC Gameport Party, this is really easy. To test MIDI out, well, we are gonna use Doom, of course. It's configured for general MIDI, and we can see here the TM32 MIDI synthesizer is receiving signals. Let's plug in the headphone port into the camera. We should hear some music now. And yeah, everything is working fine as expected, and it's really neat. We don't need to disconnect anything, plug in new cables. Everything is clutter free. You can do nice cable management and leave everything behind your computer. And finally, to test MIDI In, well, I didn't have a MIDI keyboard. I had a look at finding something cheap online, but that wasn't the case. So I'm using a virtual MIDI keyboard through a USB MIDI adapter and Falcosoft's MIDI player. And yeah, that's working fine. To help test the MIDI In functionality, Michael wrote a little piece of software which can probe the MIDI input and then route it out to either an external MIDI device, the OPL2 chip, or the PC speaker. And yeah, very nifty. It's great to have a little tool to quickly test everything, and you don't need to hunt down some other software. For example, I used the Voyetra Composer, and that was quite a long process to configure. It has drivers and so on. I got it working in the end. There's a built-in MIDI data analyzer, and we can see on the screen it's receiving the MIDI input data just fine. So guys, I think this is a wonderful project. Over the years, I collected all sorts of Gameport cables, splitters, adapters. Usually they let you do one singular thing, like plug in two joysticks with a Y splitter or a MIDI device. I do have a cable that lets you do two tasks. You can plug in a joystick and MIDI out, but I've never seen a cable or an adapter that does it all. And finally, with the PC Gameport Party, it solves this problem. We can connect two joysticks, a MIDI synth, and a MIDI keyboard, use them all at the same time without having to plug any cables around. And it does support a single, more advanced joysticks with 4 buttons, 4 axes, one of those sticks that has rudder and flight controls, for example, as well. So yeah, from me, a big thank you to Michael, firstly, for reaching out. I'm always excited when people from the community reach out to me, share their thoughts on projects. Now, not every project is gonna resonate with me, but I always read your email. And yeah, if you don't ask, you will never find out. I really appreciate that Michael made the project open source. Yeah, many of you want the convenience of buying something that's assembled and ready to go, but also a lot of you like to solder and like to tinker and maybe change some things around. And yeah, open source allows you to do this. I appreciate that everything is through hole. SMD soldering, I'm also getting into that. It can put off people quite easily. It means that for mass production, it's a little bit more expensive because you need to hand solder certain components. But on the flip side, having it as through hole makes it easier to solder. And well, like I said, I really enjoy soldering. I had no idea it's so relaxing, and putting something together yourself, well, there's a story behind it, and it just makes the device a little bit more special. So guys, what do you think? What are your thoughts about the PC Gameport Party? What challenges and solutions are you using to connect joysticks and MIDI devices to your computer, I would love to hear. Also, what is your take on buying a soldering kit and putting it together yourself versus buying it assembled and ready to go? I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. And yeah, that's it from me. I hope you found this video interesting, and like I said, if you want to watch some soldering videos, a new channel is awaiting you. I have a bunch of videos already up there for you to check out. So yeah, I hope to see you there, and we can build up a community where I share my journey of learning soldering, electronics, repairing, and all that good stuff. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you soon with another one.